Early voting in the South Carolina primary breaking records with more than 56,000 ballots cast on day one.
And with less than 2 weeks until Election Day, voters are making their voices heard in light of the decision to pause redistricting. Plus, this year, every big race in the state will have a challenger come November.
That's one reason voter turnout was so high on the first day. Our Peyton Furtado is live in Greenville County. And Peyton, you spoke with election officials about why this primary is different.
Nigel and Cindy, yes, I did. You kind of covered part of it, but another part of this, yesterday, that's when the first day of early voting was, that's when state senators were discussing whether or not they're actually going to redraw congressional lines around the state right now or push it back until the next legislative session. We had, like you said, more than 56,000 people come out for the first day of early voting. That's unheard of in a primary and in a midterm election. Many senators cited pushing back that redistricting effort to next session because they didn't want to throw out those votes. It's a record-breaking turnout on the very first day of early primary voting.
But even more surprising is the very point that it's early. Early voting is not the norm when it comes to turnout in primaries.
And that could be for a number of reasons. One, this is the first year in a while an incumbent isn't running for governor or attorney general.
Well, it tells me about the enthusiasm and excitement. I mean, obviously, we've got an open race for governor going on. People are paying attention.
And it's the first South Carolina election in at least 50 years where a Democrat is running in every race. So more competition. But it also came at a time when the state legislature was debating redrawing congressional lines. That would have meant thousands of absentee votes and votes cast during early voting thrown out.
I think a lot of people felt helpless in this process. They didn't have a lot of opportunity to go to the state house and give testimony. There were not public hearings across the state.
Not knowing where they would end up, not knowing if they would be in a district voting for the same congressman they intended to vote for. Would they be in a new district that would have stretched to places that had no common interest with them?
One question I did have earlier today, how many Republicans and how many Democrats or people who voted in each of those primaries were there that showed up yesterday? The state just got me that answer, so I'm going to take a look at my notes right now. According to their records, it shows nearly 46,000 people voted in the Democratic primary yesterday for the first day, and more than 10,000 people voted in the Republican primary. In fact, Democrats outnumbered Republicans in each county except for Oconee and Cherokee County. So every other county in South Carolina, Democrats outnumbered Republicans at the polls yesterday. Live in Greenville County, I'm Peyton Furtado for WYFF News 4.